Lance Gooden joins me now. Congressman, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. So let's start in the present. Tell us about what you're going to be voting on today and your expectations of it passing.
You know, the House plan for this health care bill, we expect it to pass today. It brings cost reductions to the Affordable Care Act. It provides transparency for these pharmacy benefit managers where we don't know why these prescription drugs are as high as they are. There is clarity to that. But what, at the end of the day, Democrats want is they want an extension of COVID-era tax subsidies that have done nothing but increase costs, not only to the American people, but to the health care program that has been failed since they passed it. Democrats have not been serious about a real solution. They don't want to bring costs down. They don't want accountability. They don't want to eliminate fraud. They want to be sure that the taxpayers pay for abortions all across the United States. And this is what they shut the government for 6 weeks down for back in October. And we're just not going to have it on the Republican side. And I believe this plan we have today will do something quite good for the American people. But at the end of the day, I don't believe we're going to have a solution passed before Christmas that both chambers agree on.
So you expect this to pass today. Is this the solution for health care affordability? And what will happen in the Senate?
I think it could be if the Senate would get on board. But at the end of the day, we're going to have some massive reform to this health care program. Democrats raised costs. They raised these subsidies back in the COVID days. And if they were so important to continue on forever, they wouldn't have put an expiration date on them. This is something we've talked about throughout the month of October when Republicans were working to open the government and Democrats said no, not until we continue to fund this very wasteful program and keep costs high. That just makes no sense to me or my constituents, and I think the average American wants to see costs come down. This doesn't do that. What Democrats want is to continue to reward United Healthcare, Blue Cross, and all the others that are continuing to make money at the cost of the American people. It's outrageous, and what we need is real reform that brings costs down.
Well, this GOP package will allow association health plans where groups pool money to save on insurance. But when it comes to those extended enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, the expectation is that premiums are going to rise for millions of Americans. Can Republicans really afford that to take place when President Trump is trying to lower costs for Americans right now, and he is laser focused on that issue?
Well, that's the whole point of this bill. We want to lower costs. Premiums won't go up if we do something meaningful in the House and Senate. And that's what this president wants. He wants to lower costs. We can't continue to afford a health care plan that just continues to rise in cost and pad the pockets of these health insurers. And that's what extending these subsidies without reform would do. Democrats don't want to address fraud. They don't want to address rising costs. That's what Republicans want to do. That's what we're going to do going into the first of the year. And I believe that you'll see costs come down over time if meaningful reform is passed.
Okay, also today, former special counsel Jack Smith is set to appear behind closed doors for a House Judiciary interview on his two probes into President Trump. One, of course, on classified documents, the other on the 2020 election. You're going to be a part of this interview. And when it comes to classified documents, Fox News just learned that the FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in 2022, but moved forward amid pressure from the Biden Justice Department, with an official saying he didn't, quote, give a damn about the optics of the search. How important is this new information to your line of questioning?
I think it's very damning. I think that what Jack Smith did was unprecedented, going into the home of a former president, refusing to let the president speak up. Remember, they had a gag order. They limited what President Trump could say. They tried to destroy this president. And thank God the American people saw through this last November and elected him. Otherwise, this would still be going. They would have locked President Trump up. He'd likely be in prison if Jack Smith had his way and the American people didn't vote to elect President Trump. And so what we want to have today is a discussion with Jack Smith. We want him to answer the questions about the origins, his contact with the prior administration. This was weaponized justice, and we want answers today in this deposition.
Understood. Well, it will be behind closed doors, no doubt fiery, and you will be a part of it. Congressman Gooden, we thank you so much for joining us.